Welcome to the Mitchell Hawks podcast, sponsored by Kurt's Coolers. This is where we talk about past and future events for the Mitchell Hawks. Now, here are your hosts, Scott Bridge and Stevie Dom. Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of the Mitchell Hawks podcast. I'm your host, Stevie Dom, alongside Mitchell Hawks general manager Scott Bridge. How's it going today, Scott?
Fantastic. Steve-O, how about yourself?
I'm doing great.
Good.
It's a pretty huge weekend for the boys, but before we recap the series that was, we want to give a huge shout out to the series that was segment sponsors. Sutton Realty, located in Stratford. This 100% Canadian real estate company makes it easy to buy or sell property in Canada. And Goderich Transport, your one-stop shop for your livestock transportation needs with exceptional service across Canada and the U.S. We obviously played the Goderich Flyers in round 1 of the playoffs. Game 1 was Wednesday night at 8 p.m. in Mitchell. That one was a goalie show. Nothing
really
much else to say about that one other than the goalies played outstanding.
They both did. It was save for save throughout game number 1, and Liam McCarthy. Wow, what a performance. I haven't seen anything like that in quite a long time when it comes to that many saves. Steve, I can't remember how many scramble plays in front of the net where we had 3, 4, 5 shots in a row, and he's kicking out the left pad, kicking out the right pad, flinging the blocker up, poke checking in front. The kid was everywhere, and he played unreal.
In the first period, Goderich got 2 unanswered goals, both by Owen Shore and assisted by Riley Kipfer. I don't know if it was as much of a sluggish start, but kind of got caught off guard there early in the first. But the boys really rallied and put the pressure on Goderich for the rest of the game.
Yeah, they did, and I don't know if it was caught off guard. I mean, Owen Shore is a pretty good hockey player, and he's got a really good shot. I believe that he came in and honestly just beat Jacko with a couple nice snipes. Really nothing that Josh could do on any of those goals. You see right there was a little bit of a screen in front. So Owen Shore uses the defender as a screen and then goes low glove side, I believe. And that's just a nice shot. And Owen Shore is a tough guy to defend against, and Goderich runs a lot of plays through him. So it's easy to point him out and say we got to stop this guy, but when he's got that skill and he's coming on you with that speed, he's tough to stop.
Yeah. Now, despite the 2 goals early in the first, just with this save here too, Jacqueline played quite well. Despite he wasn't quite as busy as McCarthy, but he played very well throughout the whole series.
Oh yeah, he did. He stuck with the program, right? And it's a lot easier as a goaltender when you are busy, but I'm pretty sure that Josh was happy with the amount of shots that he did face. And we saw that second goal where Shore comes in and beats some high blocker and goes bar down on that one. But we just knew that from this point on, Josh was going to shut the door, and we just had to get him some goal support. Once that first one went in, that's what's going to spark confidence through the bench, and we did that towards the end of the second period, right at the end of the second period. So that was just a huge goal by our leader to lift the boys up and let them know they're still in the game, and it just to bring them lots of confidence.
And it really seemed up until that goal right there, like it was going to be tough to get least amount 1 goal on McCarthy. And then Cassidy got that goal when I slowed it down, 0.1 seconds left there in the second shorthanded. And that really seemed to change the momentum of the game, where it seemed like there's just a bit more confidence that, yeah, we can beat this guy, because he was making save after save after save. And there's a couple saves that he made diving across the net that he had no business making. And then in the third period, after that amazing diving play, Brady Brzezinski comes down the ice and finds himself in front of the net with a loose puck and buries it right here to tie the game. And that was a huge goal for the Hawks.
Yeah, the old cliche saying when you're talking about the hockey gods, Steve-O, Well, Brzezinski comes back and takes care of his own end first with an amazing defensive play. And when you take care of your own end first, great things are going to happen in the offensive zone. I don't care what type of hockey player you are. You take care of your own end first, and just be prepared. You're going to get rewarded for your efforts, and that's exactly what happened with Brzezinski when he scored that goal to tie the game up.
Now that's where the game would stay for about the end of the third period. That would take us into overtime for game one. Um, Off the face-off, the Hawks really controlled majority of play in overtime, and then off this play here, uh, Mark Cassidy went behind the net and saw that McCarthy was kind of leaning forward and wasn't quite set, and we'll see it here in a second. He just banks it off his foot for the game winner. Despite McCarthy's strong play, that was just a tough goal for him, but a great goal for us.
Yeah, it's tough to be perfect when you're facing over 70 shots. That's for
Yeah.
sure. It really is. You could see him McCarthy kind of cramping up in the third period as well. And I know he had the linesman come over a few times and just to give him a few extra seconds as he's slimming back some water. But he was starting to cramp up in the third period. And with that goal right there, that's just Cass being heads up, recognizing that, hey, from the angle that I'm coming on, if I can hit that skate blade on that angle, we might have a bank play here. But a great job by Muzz in the far corner to keep the play alive. And if you watch the replay, he's going back and forth a few times with the puck. It was a good job by Ten Hag to get Muzz the puck, and then a good job by Muzz to keep it going. There he is in the corner. He's battling him and Cass. There's Muzz again with the puck, strips the forward, gets it back to Cass. And if Muzz doesn't do his job fighting for that puck, then Cass doesn't have a chance to score that goal. So that's just a great job of the guys feeding off one another.
Yeah, and that was a huge momentum boost going into game two. Obviously, game two was on the road in Hensel. Is 8:30 p.m. start. This was a completely different game. Completely different. Nothing similar to game one, other than the fact that McCarthy still played fairly well despite the score. Um, the Hawks dominated through the first two periods, scoring 5 unanswered goals, um, 2 in the first and 3 in the second, with goals from Zachary McCann, Andrew Geisbers, Zach Scully with 2, and rookie forward Dawson Dietz with his first goal as a Hawk. The Hawks really dominated the majority of this game.
Yeah, and I think the reason why it was a little bit more of a higher scoring game, it comes down to that secondary scoring in the playoffs, and we got that. Zach McCann, you mentioned, he opened up the scoring, and Zach started the year as a defenseman. He's played phenomenal all year on the back end. He's AP'd with the Cyclones and has gotten to some good practices with them, and got into his first junior B game this year. And there you see him, Johnny on the spot in front of the net, kind of gets McCarthy stretched out from his right, and good patience by Zach with the puck, and waits for McCarthy to be outstretched, and then goes low blocker. And there again, Andy, the puck from the point, it was a bouncer. We'll have to give Ranks a hard time for not having enough mustard on that shot to actually make it to the goaltender. But and then it kind of bounced in front of McCarthy, and I think that took McCarthy off guard too, right when it hits the ice and hits the stick, and then a good job by Andy to outweight the outstretched McCarthy again and hitting him short sides. So this period was huge for us. Yep. 3 unanswered goals. This is the period that we were waiting for ever since from the puck drop of game number 1. And Zach Scully getting the scoring started with a little tip in front, a little redirect. I believe he redirected that in off a Flyer defenseman in front of the net. It was good to see him get going and just a real nice play. He's got another beauty goal coming up here shortly, but Scully was buzzing here in the second period.
Now, when I was listening to Lou Livingston, the coach, talk about this game, the one thing he keyed in on was getting a power play going. And this goal here from Scully was a power play goal. And I think that was huge for the power play's momentum as throughout the rest of the series.
Yeah, the power play has to get going. Special teams make a huge difference in the playoffs, and you've got to take advantage of the man advantage. There's the goal by Dietzy. Congratulations to Dawson on his first goal as a Hawk. He was waiting quite a while for that one, and he goes to the dirty area to make it happen. And I think more of those are in his future if he wants to pay the price in front and battle hard for pucks like that. He's been doing it all season, and finally gets rewarded for one there. But
And I feel like that was a huge energy boost, like, and a morale boost for the guys as, they played a lot of games, this weekend, and I feel like that goal was huge energy boost for them.
yeah, 3 games in 3 nights. It's tough. It's tough, right?
Mhm.
Um, and 2 of those 3 games are on a smaller ice surface. Game 1 and game 2, where Mitchell were in Hensel. Those are small ice surfaces, and then you go back to Mitchell for game 3 on a small ice surface again. So 3
Yeah.
games in a row, you finally don't get the bigger ice until you get to Goderich for game 4, and feel like, yeah, that your guys are draped all over you on the smaller ice surface. You don't have much.
Now, obviously, saw before, Goderich finally got to Jacqueline a couple minutes into the third, making it 5-1, but then after that hit, that Ten Hag took, ended up, I think it was his collarbone that was hurt. We ended up scoring two more times. Once was from Mark Cassidy again with his third in 2 games, and Nolan Gagne scored as well with the goal that was just played here. Despite the injury to Ten Hag, we really closed out this period strong and showed why we were the better team the whole game.
Yeah, and Jacqueline made some key saves down the stretch too as well. A lot of routine saves. He made them look easy. I know he was really gunning for the goose egg in that game, and just had a
Yeah.
little chat with him after the game, and he was quite upset about that one goal. But Shore and McIsaac have been threats for Godrich all year, and Ian McIsaac's a nice looking 16-year-old player who's got a bright future at the junior level, and with that type of shot, it's only going to get better and beat Jacqueline with a nice one. So you really can't blame Jacqueline on that one, and we just finished the game off real strong, and that's what we wanted. It's what the guys went in hoping for, and especially on unfamiliar ice. We haven't had a chance to play on that ice together as a team this year, so kind of unfamiliar territory, but stuck with the game plan and kind of opened up the floodgates a little bit.
And that would give the Hawks a 2-0 series lead, which was huge, especially as you come into, as we mentioned before, 3 games and 3 nights, as guys start to get worn down. Both teams get a little bit more tired, but that 2-0 series leads was real huge heading into game 3, which was a 7 o'clock start in Mitchell. This game was very back and forth in a sense where Goddard would open up the scoring with a goal from McIsaac. And then the Hawks would respond with three unanswered goals there in the first period. One from Mark Cassidy for his fourth of the series, one from Brady Brzezinski with his second of the series, and one from Charlie Rankin. The first period was probably one of Mitchell's best periods, other than maybe game 2, period 2. It was probably one of Mitchell's best periods.
Yeah, and it all goes back to the dreaded 3 games and 4 nights. I don't care. The junior C level, junior B level coaches will tell you that third game on the fourth night, I mean, anything can happen at any given time. And Goderich got on us early here. Again, McIsaac, who had a nice goal in game number 2, opens up the scoring. And that line for Goderich played real well. You got to give him credit. We already touched on Owen Shore at the beginning, but he kept that play going, getting it to McIsaac and making it 1-0. And the boys had to battle. The boys stuck together and they just kept battling hard. And again, Cass, the captain, coming to bat for the Hawks and answering the bell and tying the game up. That was a good shot that you got there of that one, Steve-O. And Cass, again, he's in front of the net. Everything's hard in front. You're paying the price to make the play. And that's exactly what you have to do this time of the year. And again, you can see the guys are in tight. They're in tight. They're forcing Godrich's defense to work, kind of spinning them around a little bit. but again, there's another nice kick play to keep the play alive. And Hess and Andy getting him on that one. Good patience by Brzezinski and tight. Defenseman coming in off the point, gets around the hash marks, sees that McIsaac's kind of flailing around a little bit, trying to stack the pads. So Brady saw there's no place to go down low, but just lots of patience and hit the top of the net and bar down on his. And there again, another defenseman. We're getting some production from the back end, and that's great to see. The defensemen have done a great job all year, being patient back there and playing defense first. And it is nice to see them get rewarded with some goals here, especially back to back. But nice goal by Rankin, kind of maybe a little bit of redemption for bouncing a puck towards the net and Hensel. And this is where Goderich just keeps plugging away. They just keep plugging away. Kipfer again, the captain. He's been around the show. He knows what it takes to keep his team in the game. And again, in the slot, making it happen. Uses the defenseman as a screen again. Another one that Jacqueline doesn't stand much chance on, just with where the puck's labeled. And we just kept battling again. It starts from the top. There's Rankin again with a shot. Sees that he's not going to score that goal, so just shoots for sticks. And that's a play where we know every team that we play in North Pollock's going to want to box us out in front of the nets. So as a player, if you can keep battling in front, make your stick available for the shot from the point and put it in a good position, good things are going to happen, just like it happened there for us. And a nice tip play in front.
And I know it's a bit of a cliche when players say this, but it was very true in this game in particular and the rest of the series. Getting pucks in deep, getting pucks to the net, and burying the rebounds. That was key. That's how we scored a fair amount of our goals this series. And it just seemed to be the key component, getting pucks on net and burying rebounds.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And when I watch all these other highlights from these PJHL games, GOJHL games this time of the year, 85-90% of them are scored within tight. And they all kind of resemble each other. It's what teams working harder around that 15 feet around the net, and those teams are getting rewarded with those goals. So our goals that we're scoring, Goderich's goals that we saw them score on us, and all these other teams are battling just as hard in front and going about the same way. So if you're going to try to play perimeter hockey this time of the year and score the highlight reel flashy goals, your season might be done pretty quick.
As shown there, Goderich would end up tying it with goals from Carson Stutzman and another one from Oren Shore to tie the game at 4. And then it was a goalie show for pretty much remainder of the second and the third. And like just these highlights here, look at this, say, oh my God, like that save from Jacqueline was probably one of the best saves of the series. And like it was a goalie show. It was a goalie fight.
And this one right here that just trickled wide of the post, he got a piece of that. And that was a huge difference. If this puck goes in that he gets a piece of here, then she's a different ball game. So there he is, stretched out, gets a little piece of it, whistles it just wide, and Jacqueline he was absolutely lights out, playing at the top of his game.
Now it seemed like because of the goaltending, we were heading for overtime. But it'll come up I believe right now, with about 8 seconds left. Puck squirts out, and Callan Ferguson gets the go-ahead goal to give the Hawks the lead with 8 seconds left. That was a huge goal, and again, it's getting pucks on net, getting the rebounds, and burying those chances.
Yeah, and with 8 seconds left, Ferg knew that he had a little bit of time after that face-off happened, that he could sneak in a little bit. And he kind of see him looking back. He had support on the blue line as well in case there was a turnover that we were going to have a red jersey back. So good job by Ferg recognizing the play. And again, patience. He didn't take it and just clap it one timer on net. Took the puck, took a look up, and with his head up, nice little wrister, top shelf again. Obviously, McCarthy, we knew we had to beat him high a lot. And as you could tell by these goals, all series long, that a lot were scored high on him because he just takes the lower half of the net away so effectively. Shot again.
And for McCarthy, that was his second 50-plus save performance. You can't really say much more about how well he played. Um, he kept them in 3 out of 4 games that at some points they didn't really have any business being in because of how well the Hawks are playing, right? And it's kudos to him for playing so well.
Yeah, big difference maker. And goaltending, it's not going to get any easier here on out, right? So
Yeah.
we knew that right from game number 1 of the playoffs, that obviously we know what the goals are, and everybody's got the same goals in mind. And we do know that each round that you go through, the goaltending is going to get that much harder and that much more difficult. So if you're going to make life easy on the goaltender you're facing, again, you're going to get put out pretty quick. So we have to make life very difficult with every goaltender we face.
Despite the stellar goaltending from McCarthy, the Hawks would take a 3-0 series lead into Game 4. That was a 7:30 start on Sunday in Goderich. Game 4, the Hawks were looking to put Goderich away because in playoffs you never know when a team gets their spark or something happens and someone comes from behind. It was really important to put them away now.
It was, and yeah, 4 games in 5 nights. You don't want Goderich to hang around. That's for sure. Because you're right. They're a team that does have spark. They feed off each other. They're an emotional team. They've all got each other's backs just like we do, and we just have to make sure that we rally harder and that we stick to the game plan.
Now the Flyers would start off strong with a goal from Jordan Curran, giving them a 1-0 lead. But other than that, it was more of the same. Mitchell really controlled a lot of the play.
Yeah, we did, and that first goal that Goderich scored, that's a play that will start tightening up a little bit as the playoffs go on. So that was recognizable, and it was it's just a play that we have to realize we've got to bear down and be a little bit more tough on. So guys will practice it, live and learn, and we move on.
Now, something I wanted to bring up throughout the series, unfortunately, we got um, way too many, in my opinion, way too many penalties, putting us shorthanded way too many times. But despite that, the penalty kill was yet again very strong and killed a lot of those penalties off. What did you see from them?
Just the penalty killers working their butts off, and never stop moving their feet. It's I mean it's something that doesn't really show up on the game sheet, right?
Right.
And it's just
Yeah.
the little things that they continued to do all series long that kind of paid off. It was keeping Goderich to the outside, and when Goderich did collapse in tight, uh, it was Jacqueline that ended up making the saves to keep us in it when they did sneak into the box area. So thought they did a great job. I mean, Cass was phenomenal on the penalty kill all series long. Yeah, he logs a lot of ice time, and then you put him in the penalty killing role. That's even more ice time. And I thought the way that he responded and the first round that he had was fantastic. So I think it starts from Cass and trickles down.
Now, for the remainder of the first, Mitchell really pressed Goddard in their own zone, and they would get rewarded with that goal just shown there by Caleb Musselman. Put them on the board. That was a huge goal to tie up the game, and that would be where the period would end, tied at 1. But that was a huge goal to get the team tied, the game tied.
Yeah, I don't understand. McCarthy makes some of those highlight reel saves again that he has no business making, and then Bones just on the backhand picks his spot. Obviously, sees where he wants to go, just above the pad below the glove, and that one goes in. It's just a little bit head scratching at times. I know Bones made a nice shot on the backhand, but it's like, how's that one go in? And the other 5 saves before that don't go in, where it's point blank, bang, bang, bang in front. So it's one of those things. It was a big goal by Bones, and here again, head up, gets in behind the defense, stays on side, picks his spot, blocker side, makes no mistake. McCarthy didn't even get a piece of that one there. It was just a nice shot, good release, and there's Andy coming in down the left wing and kind of fakes the pass, and then and then finishes it off. So Bones had a couple of nice options there. He could feed Andy over on the left wing and give him the wide open net, or pick a spot, which he did for the second time in the game.
And that would be, his second goal of the game. And then pretty much immediately after, like less than a minute later, Zach Scully with an absolute snipe off the crossbar down into the net. That was quite a shot from Scully.
Yeah, it was. He was just picking up right where he left off in game number 2 and game number 3. So he's rolling here, and I know that he'll be continuing rolling with us here in the second round. And I believe I was standing next to his dad chatting to him there when he scored that goal. So we knew that it was in right away, and Goderich didn't give up much of a fight saying it didn't go in. So it was a beautiful shot, bar down to the back.
Now, Scully only ended up playing, I think, 15 regular season games. So was he like a late season acquisition, or how did you get him?
Yep, brought him in from the Stratford Warriors at the trade deadline, and he still is practicing with Stratford on the regular, and it's really benefiting his game. Thanks practicing with them, coming in with us, and our systems that we run, I think have really benefited Zach well. He's a great hockey player. He's fast. He's got a great shot. He's a great teammate in the room. And with us, he's going to log a lot of ice time. He sees a lot of time on the ice on the first, second line. Sees a lot of power play time. There's quite a bit of movement that runs through him. So I think that with him coming to us and the opportunities that are presented to him, I think it's only going to benefit him, and it's going to help him grow as a player.
Now, previously shown, Riley Kipfer brought the game to within one, less than a minute in, and then right here, the captain again, Mark Cassidy, scored with his 5th of the series with an insurance marker. That was a huge goal because Goderich tried to do a bit of a late push there. That was a huge insurance marker.
It was, and again, Captain Cass to the rescue. That was a huge goal. We really needed that one, and it really put a stamp on things for us. And this at this time, it's not like the guys laid back and just relaxed. They still went out and battled hard. And then Jacqueline just did what he's been always doing, and that shut the door. He did a phenomenal job at doing that.
That was just shown. That was a bit of a sketchy play there by Jacqueline. If it worked out, it would have been amazing, but ended up not going in. He tried to shoot it down the ice for a goalie goal, but ended up winning 4-2 in that game and winning the series 4-0. And that will move the Hawks on to round 2. That was a well-played all-around series from the team in general.
Yeah, that's right. And congratulations to the boys on a hard-fought series. You guys played well. And I know that we'll have a hard practice here on Wednesday, kind of regroup. We missed Wednesday's practice last week because we started game number 1. So it's been a few weeks since they've had a practice, and we'll have at least 2 or 3 before our game number 1 of the second round, and kind of regroup and go from there. But we understand that whoever we play in round number 2 are going to be well coached. Those top teams in the North Polack division are well coached. Bobby Kirby, I know, does a great job with Mount Forest, and I know that they're waiting to get going. But yeah, whoever we face there is going to be prepared for us too.
And you just mentioned coaching, like Lou Livingston obviously won Coach of the Year. How it's so important to have coaches come up with great game plans and really communicate well with the team at this time of year.
Yeah, Louis a gem. Louis one of a kind, and it's been an absolute pleasure working with him this year. We traveled to the rink together for practices, for the games, and he is just an absolute pleasure to be with. I just can't say enough good things. We're really happy to have him aboard. Really fortunate that he considers the Mitchell Hawks his family, and winning Coach of the Year. It doesn't surprise me. He is really well liked. I can't vote for him. I can just nominate him, and and I
Yeah.
can't vote for him, obviously. So that means that he got the mass majority of the votes to be Coach of the Year. So it just goes to show you the type of respect that he has around the league.
The way he just kind of controlled the room, I think, is a huge factor to help him with his coaching for the Coach of the Year award and help the Hawks win this series.
Just want to ask you a real quick question. The jacket behind you, that looks old school. I know that
This,
it has to belong to the Hawks at
yeah,
some year here.
yep. So that jacket there is from the 1973-74 Hawks team that went to the OMHA finals. My grandfather and his brother Steve Chessel and Philip Chessel both played on that team, and the team got team jackets at the end of that season to commemorate that playoff run. I believe they ended up losing 4-1 in the finals, but the stories those guys tell about that run, I bet you we could record about 10 podcasts worth of content from the story with that jacket and all the things that jacket represents for not only the Hawks but the community and all the people who are still fairly involved with the team. Pretty cool piece of history to have, and I thought it'd be cool to have in the background as being something that either Hawks fans can look to and say um, that's part of our history. So yeah,
Take good care of it.
yep. It's a little worn out because my grandfather wore it heavily after they went to the finals there, but it's still in pretty good shape. And yeah, we're taking good care of it. I did want to uh, do a bit of a fun thing here for our show. The 3 stars of the series between the Mitchell Hawks and the Goderich Flyers. I have 3 people that I nominated for the 3 stars, and I just want your intake on how they played and things you saw from those players, and overall whether you agree, disagree, it's all up to you. For the 3rd star of the series, I have Liam McCarthy. That guy faced 239 shots in 4 games. He had 45 plus save performances. So the 3rd star of the series goes to Liam McCarthy.
Well, kudos on you for picking an opponent's player, Steve-O. There's a pile of rinks that we go into, and the 3 stars. People tend to forget there's 2 teams on the ice.
Yeah.
It's always 3 from the home team. So kudos to you for picking Liam. Well deserved. Couldn't disagree with you at all.
For the 2nd star of the series, he had 2 goals and 3 assists for 5 points in 4 games. Nolan Gagne. I thought he played exceptionally well, and as we mentioned before, he was a huge net front presence, tipping pucks in, getting those rebounds, moved the puck very well, and I thought he was deserving of the 2nd star.
Mr. Steady Eddie on the wing is Nolan Gagne, and he does everything that you ask of him. And he plays hard, he blocks shots, he battles hard in front of the net. I thought he had a great series, and he will keep producing here in the playoffs, and he'll just continue to keep doing the right things and being a good teammate and battling hard for the boys, and hopefully just pots a couple more here at the beginning of the second round to get the wheels in motion and get him that confidence that he deserves.
Now, for the 1st star, I think you might all know who it is. The captain, number 3, Mark Cassidy. Cassidy scored 5 goals in 4 games with 2 assists for 7 points. And I thought he was just such a calming aspect to this team for the team's momentum and their energy. And he just worked his butt off to help this team win, burying all those rebounds, staying in front of the net. And I thought he was the key to the Hawks coming out on top in this series.
He scored some big goals and made some big plays at the right time. He stepped up to the plate. He played fantastic. You're right. Without a few of his goals that he scored for us, those games are much different. Sometimes, like that goal with 0.1 seconds left. If he doesn't score that one, that game doesn't go to overtime because we've lost 2-1. And but some other goals that kind of put the game out of reach, kind of puts the nail in the coffin. He did a great job getting us scoring goals to get us back into games, and just continue to pass the buck. And yeah, he did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, and I just thought he was well deserving of that first star of the series. Now on to our final segment of the show, our guest interview, sponsored by Van Pelt Construction. Family-owned, Van Pelt Construction can do it all, from reliable and cost-efficient bulk storage and commercial buildings to new exquisite homes. Our guest today is Mitchell Hawks captain Mark Cassidy. Mark has played 4 years of junior hockey, 2 for the Lucan Irish and 2 for the Mitchell Hawks. Cassidy led the Hawks in scoring this season with 19 goals and 22 assists, and currently has 5 goals and 2 assists in 4 games in the playoffs. Cassidy was a part of last year's team that won the Pollock Division title and is looking to repeat that outcome this postseason. Welcome to the show, Mark Cassidy.
What up, Steven? What's up, Reggie?
How are you?
How are you?
Good.
How are you feeling after that big series this weekend and just this week?
Feeling pretty confident with the team. We played pretty well. We met our goal on winning 4 straight and having a little break here, having 2 practices to get ready for the Hanover and Walkerton series. But I thought we played our systems pretty well and executed our game plan almost every game. We got a little bit penalty trouble in the first couple games in the last game, but we conquered that and came out with the win in the series.
Now, this is your second season with the Hawks. Previously, you played for the Lucan Irish. What was that experience like playing for them?
My first year junior was a pretty good experience. I played with a lot of my buddies from high school and my local town in Lucan, so it was pretty good playing with them. But then it wasn't the outcome I really wanted as a team, and we were like second to last and got swept in the first round 4 straight by the Exeter Hawks there, and I wanted out after that. I wasn't a winning team, winning organization, didn't have the right mindset to become a winning organization, so I wanted out after that.
So then you, in that offseason, obviously you wanted out. Then you got moved to the Hawks. What was that experience like moving from Lucan to Mitchell?
It was awesome. Like at the start of the process of getting traded, I wanted to get traded to a different team in the YEC division, the North Middlesex Stars, but the new GM of the Irish didn't want me in the same division, so he traded me to Mitchell, and I was pretty pissed off with him. He traded me to Mitchell. I didn't know anyone from the team, didn't know anything about the organization, but it was a blessing in disguise coming to Mitchell here. It's a great organization, and I love the boys.
Now, at the beginning of the season, you got named captain of the Mitchell Hawks. What did that mean to you?
It was a true honor to be named captain of this organization from top to bottom. Everything's awesome about it, and nothing really changed with like the whole playing style I had from last year to this year. It's just C on my jersey. That's pretty much it.
Now, this season, you ended up leading the team in points with, as mentioned before, 19 goals and 22 assists. What was the key to your success this season?
Key to my success this season was just staying with the same routine I had from last year, staying the same routine I had all playing throughout hockey. And it's just like going to net hard, working my ass off, and just shooting pucks pretty much. Nothing really changed.
Right on. Now, you just came off a 4-0 sweep over the Goderich Flyers, as mentioned before. You scored 5 goals and 2 assists in 4 games. What did you see from yourself and the rest of the team that helped you beat those Goderich Flyers?
What I saw from the team is just everyone's starting to buy in now. It's go time. It's playoffs. Like the boys want to win, and it's just a whole level of hockey that's been played. So everyone's playing faster, more confident with the puck. Everyone's hitting harder. Everyone's making that extra look, making that extra play for that pass, and good things are happening for us right now.
Now, Liam McCarthy played an unbelievable series despite the sweep. What was the key to getting past him?
Just shooting pucks on that. Like as you can see on the stat sheets there, we had like 76 shots the first game and only won 3-2. If we just keep he's an unbelievable goalie. He played unbelievable this whole series. It's just getting shots on that, and eventually it's going to go in if you get that many shots.
Now, last season you were part of the team that won the Pollock. What was that experience like?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It wasn't even like the on ice stuff that was so memorable. It was more of the off ice stuff. Being with the boys, like the bus rides, like we had such a close knit team, and everyone knew from the start of the season our goal was to win the Pollock division, and we accomplished that in Hanover in Game 7 there.
Now, you just mentioned like the best part of it was the off ice stuff and being with the boys and being with the team and creating those memories.
Yeah.
Were there any memories that stuck out to you, or any couple of them that were your favorite during that process?
A couple of my favorite were legit just the bus rides. Like the energy we had on the bus rides to and from the rink. Everyone was dialed in, like going to the rink. Everyone knew what our goal was for that game was to win every single game. And then afterwards, it's just having a couple pops on the bus and just enjoying the boys' company.
So you were a part of that team. There's a decent amount of turnover from the team last year, this year. But you're obviously looking for the same outcome, winning the Pollock and going as far as you guys possibly can. What are some of the keys that you can take from last season team that won the Pollock to bring to this team for the remainder of the playoffs to try and repeat that outcome?
What we can take from last year to this year is just the way we played, pretty much. Like our systems that we had last year, how to implement that into this year's team, and I think we're doing pretty well so far with our systems and how we can play more defensive hockey and keep the pucks out of our net and go and score in their net.
Cass, bring us. We talked about your routines and kind of what you've went through this year. Give the fans a little inside scoop on your pregame routine. Before the game, I mean, you've got such a an order on the way that you do things before the game. But just bring us through about like a half an hour before the game what you do.
Half an hour before the game, we'll have or 45 minutes before the game, we'll have our coaches talk. So that's usually around 10 to 15 minutes. And right around that half an hour mark, I'll go out to the rink there and I'll stand and either watch the game or whatever. And as soon as that 20-minute mark before warm-ups go, I'll toss in my AirPods here. I'll go out, do my run, do my stretches, do everything like that. I come back into the rink, do more stretches, watch the game until around the 5-minute or 15-minute mark before warm-ups, and I'll go into our hallway, do a couple more stretches until the 10-minute mark. As soon as that 10-minute mark before warm-ups happen, I'm boom, I'm in the room. I'm getting dressed. I get dressed from the right side to the left side, all the way up, and then as soon as I'm done dressing, it's right about time where we'll go right on the ice. There's no real waiting time in between. I don't like waiting around, standing around. So
now this season and last season, you've been coached by Lou Livingston. Obviously, this season he ended up winning Coach of the Year. Huge shout out to him. What has been like playing for him? Obviously, he's a huge communication coach where he likes to communicate with his players and let them know what's going on. What's been like playing under Lou?
it's an incredible experience. I never really had a coach like him before where it's so interactive, where you can just go in, talk to him and say what's on your mind and what the team needs. Like if something's going on with the team or something like that, I can go and talk to him and say, all right, I think we need to do this and this and this for the best outcome here. And he usually listens and yeah, it's unreal. He's a great coach. He deserves every accolade that he's got.
The relationship with your teammates there, Cass, obviously year by year, players come, players will go. Still keep in touch with a lot of your teammates from the last couple of years.
Oh yeah. Still keep in touch with a bunch of boys from the last year's team, and I still keep in touch with boys from Lucan too. Like I go and watch their games. Most of them are playing with North Middlesex Stars right now, so they're in the playoffs too, playing against Port Stanley. I usually go and see their games when I have time to.
Thanks, Mark, for coming on the show. Any final remarks that you want to tell the fans or anyone who's coming out to watch your games?
Yeah, pack the Mitchell Arena, guys, and get them on Mitchell. Let's go Hawks.
Thank you very much, Mark, for coming on, and good luck for the rest of the playoffs.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Bridgie.
Yeah, thanks, Cass.
That will do it for our show today. Make sure you come out and support the Hawks in round 2 of the playoffs. When the schedule is released, you will be able to find it on any of the following social medias: Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or on the team website. All of those links are in the description. If you haven't yet, be sure to check us out on Spotify. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notifications. Before we close off completely, any final remarks, Scott?
Just bring your cheering voices out to game 1 in Mitchell. It's going to be fantastic.
Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next week.